Welcome back to Solo Marvel Champion, where I've got another topic video for you. As always, check the description for more YouTube creators making videos for Marvel Champions. And if you like what you saw here today, please consider a like, sub, and comment to help the channel grow. With that out of the way, let's get to today's topic. Alright, I am pretty excited to talk about my Green Goblin custom campaign today. This is something I've been working on for quite a while. I think it was back in February when I started this. And it has changed a lot, even just since I made this poll a couple months ago. How many of you own the complete collection? I'm almost done writing a custom campaign, and we'll be asking for playtesters soon. So I had written a campaign, and I liked it on paper, but then when I played it, it wasn't really doing the things I wanted to do. So I went back and made a few changes to it, and this is what we're getting. Let's look at this. The reason that poll was important is because I wanted to make sure people were going to be able to play this campaign. This requires the core box, the Green Goblin Scenario Pack, Sinister Motives Campaign Box, and the Spider-Ham Hero Pack. That one is really important, as important as the others. It's a narrative campaign mostly about Norman Osborn, but he gets distracted by inheritors seeking the spider totems. So the inheritors is a big part of the campaign too, and that is why Spider-Ham Hero Pack is required. That mod set came in the Spider-Ham Hero Pack. So I do have some general rules and deck building restrictions for this campaign. At least one player must choose a hero with the printed Web Warrior trait, and no player may start the campaign with the Spider-Man Peter Parker hero. Now that can sound really strange because the printed campaigns don't allow you to change your hero in the middle of the campaign. I allow that to happen after a certain point. So you can't start with Spider-Man Peter Parker, but there is a point where one player can switch to him. Until stated by victory text in this document, no player's deck may contain a Spider-Man Peter Parker ally, the Venom Eddie Brock ally, or the Symbiote Suit upgrade. Then I do have 3 print and play environments, which I'll show you shortly. I do also, at this point, want to give a shout out to Abby's Mall from MC Deck Discussions. I emailed him and said, hey, will you take a look at this? Do some playtesting in your free time, see what you think. And he very graciously obliged, and he played through it, and he gave me some really good feedback. Some of that feedback I'm going to show you shortly. So, designer's notes, these are going to be sprinkled throughout the document in red boxes, mainly just where I have space for them. I don't have space for them everywhere, despite the fact that this is 8.5 by 11 and this text is at 15-point font. This could be reduced to 12, but I'm getting old and my eyes are getting bad, so I left it at 15 because once you print it, it is big enough to read. I hate trying to read little tiny text. So this designer's notes section in particular talks about the big change I made to the campaign because the campaign was going to use the 5 Sinister Motives villains, but then I watched Strong Style Versus playing Risky Business with a house rule that I'd never seen before. And in his video, or in his description, he had a link to this article by Andy N. I will also link this article down below. Basically, it talked about things you can do to Risky Business to make it less gameable and more difficult. And that's basically what I did on this first custom environment. Let's pop these out real big. So this first custom environment is just a replacement for the environment we get in Risky Business. Criminal Enterprise on one side, State of Madness on the other. The first block of text on both of these is the text you see on the cards you have with Risky Business. I made no changes to that text. I added on Criminal Enterprise, if there are 6 per player or more infamy counters here, the players lose the game, and I added the crisis icon. That's something that article talked about. On State of Madness, I added the acceleration icon. Combined, these make it so that you can't just sit waiting for your board to be built up to go beat Green Goblin. That crisis icon means you can't take threat off the main, so you're going to have to knock him out, take some indirect damage just so that you can clear the main up. But then, if you just sit there, he would attack every turn, but instead put infamy counters on, and if that gets up to 6, you lose. So that was a huge part of making risky business part of this campaign, because it is pretty well known for being a really easy scenario, and I didn't want to use that in the campaign until I saw that video by Strong Style Versus and this custom rule. So basically all I've done is solidified that article into a physical environment that you can replace your risky business environments with, and you don't even have to be playing the campaign to use this custom environment. Just put it with your risky business cards and use this instead of the printed environment, because it does make it a lot less gameable. The next is a campaign environment called The Hunt Is On. This is permanent, and the campaign guide tells you to reveal it. And then when revealed, put the Hunting the Spider Totem side scheme into play. Early versions of this also said that side scheme gains permanent. And this is where the feedback from Abby's Mall really helped me. I'm going to continue to read this and then show you that side scheme. Non-Nemesis Inheritor minions gain victory 0. That's because Silk's nemesis is Morlun, who is an inheritor and also in the Inheritors mod set. So her version of Morlun will not go to victory, but the one in the Inheritors mod set will. Forced Interrupt. When Hunting the Spider Totems is defeated, shuffle it into the encounter deck instead of discarding it. This was a major change. Let's go look at this. This had 6 threat, or has 6 threat. Forced Interrupt. When the villain phase begins, discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. Now that was happening every single turn because, like I said originally, there was a line here that said this side scheme gains permanent. Put each Inheritor minion discarded this way into play engaged with a player who controls a Web Warrior character, if able, otherwise given to the first player. So, what this scheme used to say, this Forced Interrupt used to say, when an Inheritor minion is defeated, move all threat from Hunting the Spider Totems to the main scheme, and then place 6 threat on Hunting the Spider Totems. It made it so that if an Inheritor came out at the wrong time, when you weren't able to keep threat off of this, or get threat off of this, it really gave you a huge crunch, because now you can't just defeat that Inheritor, because threat here is going to go on the main. So that was a huge change. So again, thank you Abby's Mall for playtesting and helping me with that, because on paper, I loved what this was doing, but in practice, it was just too tough. It was too much. So now I'm going to go to the third custom environment. This is one Abby's Mall hasn't seen yet, and it's Free Spider-Man. This one goes in Venom, and it has a forced response. After Venom takes 4 or more damage from a single attack, give this card to the player who made that attack, then flip it. It flips to the basic Spider-Man Peter Parker. The response is the same, stat line is the same, but I added this Forced Interrupt. When Spider-Man would leave play, place this card next to the villain instead, then flip it. So it goes back and you have to free Spider-Man again. So I'm not tied to this name. This is Free Spider-Man. Originally, I had wanted to call it Pinned Down because it directly relates to the narrative if I call it Pinned Down. It still does, But I mean, those words pinned down were in the narrative that I'd written. So I really want to call this pinned down, and I may still change it to that. Also, the force response after Venom takes 4 or more damage. This could be 5 or 6. I'm not tied to 4. I haven't play tested it yet because I lost sleep over it last night thinking about this, because I wanted to add it in the very beginning, and I didn't because I didn't want to make another custom environment. Finally, I decided I'm just going to do it, and this is what I got. So this 4, that could go up to 5 or 6. I don't have a problem with that. Also, this force interrupt, when he would leave play, is important. Originally, I just thought of this being when he's defeated, but if you're playing Spider-Man 2099, he can send Spider-Man Peter Parker back to your hand. Well, when that happens, when he would leave play, he actually gets pinned down by Venom again instead. So would leave play here is important, especially too when you're playing Web of Life and Destiny. He doesn't actually leave play now. He gets flipped over instead. So you're not going to get to draw a card. Right, from here we go to narrative blocks. All my narrative blocks are going to be in green. And then a short little blurb right here for the scenario setup. So this is kind of the form factor we get in all of the campaigns. So this is Norman 1, Norman 2. Remove Norman 1 and add Norman 3 for expert mode. This is his main scheme. These are the cards that go in the encounter set, encounter deck, etc. So this one tells you the inheritor set found in Spider-Man or Spider-Ham pack is used in each scenario of this campaign. So just go ahead and get it out. Then we have our campaign instructions, victory, and then I do have some designer text there. Then we go to the next narrative block for the next scenario. And we're going to go through Risky Business, Venom, Rhino, which seems strange to have as a third villain, but within the narrative it makes complete sense. And then finish up with mutagen formula. This is your campaign log, and you'll see above it is a section for playtesters. Everyone who playtests this is going to get their name here. So down in the description, I have a link to a Google form. Click on that link and fill out that form with your name, the name you want listed here as playtester, including like your channel name. I did that for me and Abby Small. And I've got 2 fields for email. The reason I have 2 fields for email, I want you to type your email in both times. Don't do a copy paste, because I've used Google Forms for something like this before, and inevitably someone misspells their own email address. If you don't give me the right email address, I cannot give you this document. And then I can't even reach out to you and say, hey, I'm getting these bounced back to me. You've given me the wrong email address. So that's why I asked you to give me your email address twice. Once, type it in a second time, just to make sure you have it written correctly. All right. Once those start coming in, once those Google Forms start coming in, probably over the weekend, Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to send out an email with this PDF and another link for a Google form. That Google form is going to be for feedback. It's got some questions in it that I want you to answer, and then just a general block for, share your thoughts on the campaign with me. And I really ask that you play test, right? Don't just read it and go, oh, I don't like that. Try it out before you judge it and give me some good feedback, whether it's good or bad. If you tell me something's bad, tell me why you think it's bad. And that'll help me, make changes that I think are necessary. If you just say something's bad and don't explain why you think it's bad, it's not going to help me and I'm not going to change it. So that is playtesting for my Green Goblin campaign. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a marvelous day.